Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. This is part 2 of an unintentional two-part ICD-10-PCS codebook review. We are going over the OPTUM360 ICD-10-PCS code manual. Yes, this is the 2021 version, although there were not many changes. I don't have my 2022 with me, so we're just going to use this for basically for illustration purposes and to kind of get you guys an idea and a feel of what the PCS book is like. The theme this week is a back to school type theme, so we're reviewing some of these books. I know many of you have asked me about these books and when do we code for this and when do we code for that. If you are taking a CCS or a CCA exam through the American Health Information Management Association, or if you are taking the CIC exam through the American Academy of Professional Coders, you're going to need this book. Okay, so again, this is the second part. The first part, which I will leave the link for that video somewhere in there, but I will leave it in the description box for sure. I was going to put it up in one of the cards, so it'd be like somewhere right in here, but it'll be up there so that way you can click on it and watch it if you missed the first half. This video is going to come out, this is going to be the second one, it's going to be back to back in the same night, so 7:30 was the original airing, and then this is the second airing, which will be at 8 o'clock. So that's why you get 2 notifications for today. But continuing on, we are looking at Appendix K. This is talking about hospital-acquired conditions. These are the procedure codes. And then you can read that when you are looking through your book. I'm not going to bore you guys with that part right now. This is Appendix L for procedure combination tables, okay? So they have this, if I can get to the first part of it. Well, here we go. Procedure combination tables, all right? So pretty self-explanatory there. Then we have Appendix M, my favorite appendix of the ICD-10-PCS book. These are your coding exercises and answers. So it's going to do the answers in the next appendix, but I'm telling you guys, these is like a quiz, okay? A quiz in ICD-10-PCS. Let's see if I can creep forward a little bit. I sure can. Okay, so these are all the procedures. How I practiced when I was studying for my CCS exam, after the show, I would work through the Appendix M. You see how it's not written in? I worked through a regular separate notebook, okay? I never write in my books. That's my number one rule. I respect books. I love books, so I don't write in them. Don't write, don't highlight, don't tab. That's my message. But here, I looked up every single one of these procedures, and if I didn't know how to even look it up or where to even start, that was when I said, okay, I'm going to look it up and then I'm going to reverse how they got the answer. So I'm going to basically look up the code and then look the code up in the tables. All right. So that's what I did. And I practiced through the whole section. And that's what you have to do when you are practicing for this test. And then again, you're working on your speed as well. So it's not just looking them up here, but how fast can you find them in the index, right? So that you can get to the table and find them, right? So these are all, and it continues. And there's a couple hundred of them here, okay? So, and it goes through every single section, the medical surgical section, it goes through obstetrics, placement, administration, measure and monitoring, extracorporeal or systemic assistance and performance. Extracorporeal is continued there. Osteopathic, other procedures, chiropractic, okay? And then imaging, nuclear medicine, radiation therapy, physical medicine and diagnostic, physical rehabilitation and diagnostic audiology, mental health, and then substance treatment, and then new technology. So there's close to 400, it's like 300 something, almost 400 procedures to look up. Here's all the answers. And some of them, they kind of give a rationale as well as to like why, you know. And so this is a good check and balance, a good way to test your speed, a good way for you to get practice. And it's included with the book. See, that's why I love Optum, because they do sweet things like this. Who else has a quiz included with their book? Okay, so this publisher in the spiral bound version, because the one that's solid, like has a solid spine, you cannot use that with AHIMA. It has to be the spiral bound ICD-10-PCS OPTUM360 book if you're going to go with OPTUM360, okay? But yeah, so that is my review of this book. But I will say that PCS is a bit of a challenge. It can be. There are some people who surprise me and tell me, well, Blue, I find it much easier to go through PCS than I do for the CPT, which I find curious, but okay. Because to me, CPT is just so much quicker. You don't have to put the code together, whereas you do have to put it together here, okay? And it requires a little bit more finesse when you're looking up the codes in the book. So that's where I would say you have to study, work on your speed. And I will tell you that when I studied for the CCS, and, you know, knowing that I had not been an inpatient coder, you know, knowing that, you know, I had no experience coding for inpatient, I've been in the outpatient setting my whole career. And what I know of inpatient is what I've taught myself. So a lot of that is just self-learned. And going through Appendix M, working through all of those, I credit to saving me with PCS, the PCS portion of my CCS exam, because the CCS exam already is no joke. It is the toughest exam in the industry when it comes to medical coding. That is the hardest because it is considered the mastery. It is the one that is asked for 100% of the time by coding employers. So it is something that when you get it, it's to be coveted because it is a really great certification that can open a lot of doors, okay? And this says that you are a master of both inpatient and outpatient medical coding, okay? But it takes years to get confidence, and it takes years to build your knowledge. So you're not going to learn this stuff overnight. Don't even try to think that you can, and don't force yourself to, because that does not work, okay? It's about being patient with yourself. It's about going through practices like this, finding those little nuggets of practice where you can, right? And just doing the best you can by going through it. A lot of people will get scared off because no one's explaining it to them. For the veterans like me who had almost nobody to explain it to them, you know, it's just a different type of coder, right? And I believe that all coders can be this way if they apply themselves. This is not a career for those who want to get into something easy. This is never an easy field. And the books and their weight and the amount of books that we have to have is a lot. It's not, and it shows that everything that we have to know, all right? And this is just the tip of the iceberg in some instances, because when you start advancing and getting into like CDI, clinical documentation improvement, it's important to know these coding rules and how to code and what these things mean, because if you go to a provider without all of your information, you're going to look foolish, right? So that's the last person you want to look foolish in front of. You always want to bring your A game when it comes to communicating with providers. And the first way to do that is to get familiar with that. That's the first and only way, is that you get familiar with the coding. Because doctors are not meant to be medical coders. We are. That's why we have a job. I'm just saying. So with that, I am going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you will continue to study for no more than 1 hour at a time. Make it fun for yourselves, and I will go ahead and see you on the next video. If this video helped you, I hope that you will share it, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.